Las Vegas, Nevada has seen its fair share of con men, con games, and money laundering over the years. But recently, investigative journalist Janet Phelan and others have uncovered a new form of money laundering taking place in that desert oasis that may just be one of the most cruel and diabolical cons Sin City has ever seen, involving the caretaking and later swindling of finances belonging to elderly or incapacitated citizens who were unable to care for themselves or their finances due to afflictions like Alzheimer's or dementia. This massive scheme allegedly involves professional guardians, family court judges, and possibly even the Supreme Court of Nevada. Sean Stone sat down with investigative journalist and author of the book Exile, Janet Phelan, to discuss the ins and outs of this disturbing swindle.
Janet, thank you so much for joining me. I want to start by asking you about your more recent articles concerning judges who are essentially, you allege that judges are using home mortgages as a means of basically taking bribes. Can you just elaborate on how this process works?
Yes. I would like to start by saying there are substantial concerns being voiced from many different venues that justice in America has become more and more elusive. Judges are continuing now in specific kinds of hearings to ignore the laws, ignore the rules, in some cases ignore the Constitution, and as a result, in certain kinds of hearings, for example, probate guardianships, individuals are losing all their money. And there are other kinds of proceedings as well in which concerns are being voiced, such as in family court. So based on the understanding that if judges are going to ignore the law, ignore the Constitution, and to do so as brazenly as is now happening in some of these proceedings, that they would have to be getting some money to do so. So I started to look at whatever was available in public records, which of course are not bank accounts. You know, you can't see if someone's bank account is increasing. You can't see, but what you can see in public records are the loan histories. And I believe I have stumbled across a gold mine here, because in case after case, looking at judges who have made very problematic decisions and ignoring statutory and constitutional law, I am finding over and over again that these judges have profiles, mortgage profiles, that are redolent of money laundering. Now, what does that mean? For example, if a judge takes out a loan, let's say $500,000, pays it back in 2 years, then takes out another one, pays that back in a year and a half, one would have to start asking, where is the money coming from to pay back these loans? Judges make a set salary, usually around $160,000 to $170,000 a year. And if they're paying back on loans more than their salary provides them, you'd have to start asking what's going on here. And interestingly enough, just doing the research and asking the questions has resulted in behavior by the judiciary that can only be described as aversive and frightened. I have had judges resign from cases. In 2 cases, I was looking at situations where arrest warrants had been issued for failure to pay court costs, which actually is not even legal. In both of those cases, the judges immediately pulled back, excuse me, the arrest warrants. So the behavior is not redolent of innocence.
Right, and when you've tried to raise red flags, for example, to the FBI, what was their response to you as far as whether or not judges are even within their mandate, I suppose you'd say?
Well, this gets very concerning because I did approach the U.S. Attorney's Office in Los Angeles, and I spoke with an individual who works for the Public Corruption Unit, and she tried to sell me a line of nonsense. She tried to tell me that judges are not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States Department of Justice. Now, anyone who's aware of Operation Greylord in Chicago a number of years ago, where the FBI, DOJ came in and arrested a whole bunch of judges, nobody's going to believe that. But this individual tried to tell me that judges are policed by themselves, by judicial performance commissions. And when I would not accept that, the individual changed her tack and told me that I was not allowed to report on that discussion. Her name was Marv Williams, and she works at the U.S. Attorney's Office in Los Angeles. And obviously, I am not going to be, I'm not going to follow that dictum. So, you know, we have a situation here where judges are very likely involved in criminal money laundering practices, accepting monies in order to fix cases, and the level of protection does seem to go up to the federal level.